So let's work together. Let's stop with the campaign smears and tactics to get people to turn against us. Even having my favorite president call us and tell us we need to knock this off. I think it actually needs to be reversed. The president needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the votes and it's time to withdraw. And with that, I yield. Thank you.
Lauren Boebert there calling out, or without name, but her favorite president for still backing Kevin McCarthy when that group of about 20 Republicans, MAGA Republicans, or just Republicans that are against Kevin McCarthy, continue to hold up his nomination or his acceptance, his approval here. Let's look at that fourth vote that happened then on Wednesday, because the first three happened Tuesday, how that shook out. Hakeem Jeffrey still holding on to 212. All Democrats there holding on from 201, Kevin McCarthy, 20 for Byron Donalds, a new name thrown into the hat, and a present vote as well, which took away another from Kevin McCarthy. The recount pointed out that they were moving on to round 5. Jim Jordan had been the name that was floated on that first day. So they went to round 5. What happened there? Let's look at that next graphic. Hakeem Jeffrey still holding on to 212. Looks like those numbers are kind of exactly the same. How about we go to round 6? It's like Rocky. I watched a marathon of Rocky once I got back home, and they went to like 15 rounds. We'll see if it goes here as well. What happened in round 6? Looks like it gets exactly the same. So Byron Donalds, only going into his, I think, second term here in the House, already being floated for speaker, maybe just for the sake of another name coming through, considering Jim Jordan probably told them, please stop nominating me. I'm trying to do something here for Kevin McCarthy. This looks pretty bad. So they have a new person up there. But as they spoke about these things, every time there was a renomination, there was someone from the Republican side that was trying to convince folks, hey, we got to get on board with Kevin McCarthy, while few others were still bringing up Byron Donald. We'll get to the Byron Donald talk, but this stuck out a lot because Representative Kat Cammack from Florida, I believe, she decided to go a different route when it came to rallying some support for Kevin McCarthy. See if you think this works. Here's what she said.
Diversity of thought is a good thing. It's one of the things that sets us apart from our friends on the other side of the aisle. Yes, diversity of thought is a good thing. But they want us divided. They want us to fight each other. That much has been made clear by the popcorn and blankets and alcohol that is coming over there. The House is not in order. As evidenced by my colleagues' actions.
I want to highlight that example right there. Representative Cammack there talking about alcohol, popcorn, and blankets are showing up on the Democratic side. They want us divided as they're trying to rally support. The only way they can rally support is by talking about how much the Democrats are causing them these headaches. How does that work? Last I checked, Matt Gaetz is not a Democrat. Lauren Boebert is not a Democrat. Perry is not a Democrat, but apparently it's Democrats' fault that they can't get themselves together. Whatever it is that they need to do, because Kevin McCarthy has shown that he's willing to, I guess, fold, concede to many things that this group of 20 or so are looking for, which is more power, more control, and ability to kick his ass out anytime that they feel like it, which may also get his own supporters a little upset if he continues to give those concessions. This isn't looking very good. And as you saw, Steve Scalise sitting next to Cammack, and he was laughing at the whole thing because he might see an opening. That might be what's happening today. Before we go to the way that they tried to promote Byron Donalds here, first, Miranda, I'd like to get your thoughts because we talked yesterday to David Schuster about this whole thing. I'm just curious where everyone thinks this may go because again, it's not unprecedented that things go this long. It's just we don't know how this one's going to shake out. This one's on TV. These folks are on cable news every 5 minutes when they get the opportunity between votes. So there's a different dynamic than 1923 or 1876 or whatever it last happened for 4 months. What's going on here, do you think?
Yeah,
going to happen?
Yeah, like you said, it's become it's cable news. It's just become a reality TV show, and that's what makes this different. And so it's kind of hard to see which way this is going to go because there is so much dramatic infighting happening within the Republican Party that, like we said, they're trying to blame on the Democrats, even though the Democrats are just sitting there with their popcorn, watching it all unfold. And they're like, it's your fault. And they're like, how? How is this my fault? I honestly, maybe it's because personally, I mean, I care in a sense, but I don't really care, who becomes Speaker of the House at this point. It just feels like a moot point to me. But it's more interesting for me to see the infighting and them tearing themselves apart, because normally they're tearing into Democrats, and that's one thing they're really good at, is attacking. And so to see them turn on each other and attack each other and still try to blame the Democrats is way more interesting to me. But as far as who's going to be Speaker and who's fighting about who should be Speaker, it just feels very high school. It feels very juvenile and very Mean Girls to me. And I can see why they have popcorn and blankets to watch, because it's not, whoever's going to be Speaker is going to be Speaker. But what's interesting is the crumbling of the Republican Party that we're getting to see firsthand.
And this is the thing, and I said it the other day, I said, so say Scalise comes in, say Byron Donalds comes in, which isn't gonna happen. What is it about this agenda? What is it about these things that they're demanding from Kevin McCarthy that suddenly they would get from anyone else? Will Steve Scalise say, yeah, you can have one person that can bring up that vote to get rid of me? Sure, yeah, I can do that. Who wants that job? Even folks on Fox News were saying that. But let's find out exactly why they're going for Byron Donalds, at least what was proposed there, because Representative Perry did have things to say about him. Let's watch.
And we can also make history today by making the first.
Will the House be in order?
By electing the first Black Republican Speaker of the House. Yes, thank you. Now, as my colleague.
That's the response from Republicans, fellow Republicans. As Scott Perry said, we should nominate the first Black Speaker of the House. He should be Republican, Byron Donalds. I wonder if Byron Donalds is beginning to realize that they, kind of don't like you, but maybe it's just based off of the fact that they wanted Kevin McCarthy. I'm not gonna make that assumption, but there's something about the fact that he brought up, let's have the first Black speaker. It didn't get a uproarious applause there, but he continued on. He tried for more of this same line of how he should nominate Donalds there. Except then he had a little bit of a slant of an attack on Democrats. It always has to be that way, because that's how you rally support. Let's let him continue.
Now, as my colleagues probably know, the first Black members of Congress to serve in this body were Republicans. As a matter of fact, you probably also know that Frederick Douglass, who went and worked with Abraham Lincoln to emancipate the people of color in this country, said he would never be anything but a Republican,
So apparently, Representative Perry thinks that no one realizes the way that the makeup of the political parties were at that particular point, and that Republicans now are pretty much celebrating slavery and the institution of enslaving people, but somehow they're on the side of Frederick Douglass, who said, I'll always be a Republican as long as Republicans still trying to end this whole slavery thing. I mean, if he looks up at 2023, he might be like, whoa, maybe I won't, because they don't like me at all. Now, at the end of this whole thing, as I pointed out, they did have a very close vote to adjourn for the day, and they're back in probably now. And just as yesterday, if you guys see things flowing, please let me know. I'd love to see what's happening next. I'm unable to see it. They keep starting these damn things right when I'm on air. But Miranda, one more last point on this whole thing that's going down. So they tried to go with Donalds. I think just as another name to come up because he's willing to be that name, and it's fine. They're continuing this whole fight. He had switched from being a McCarthy guy at first, but there was also Cori Bush tweeted. We don't have the tweet, but I did see it on Fox News because they were bashing her over it. And she was pointing out how Byron Donalds is maybe being floated by these folks because he's not really any Black Republican. I'm paraphrasing that she said. Any Black Republican is being used to uphold this white supremacist approach to this party. And they were very upset by that. But look at the illustration of their response to anyone saying, hey, we should have this Black representative be Speaker of the House. I think they might kind of agree with Cori Bush. They just don't say it in those same words. That's just what I'm seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you could hear it in that clap. He ended it on such a note of, yeah, this is what we want. And they were like, I didn't think we wanted that, but I'll give you a pity clap. Like, it's definitely something they don't want. And then he doubled down on it and just like dug a hole with factually incorrect information to try and really hone. He's like, no, you don't understand. Here's what I'm saying, and it still didn't make sense to them. They're still like, no, we still don't like that. But good effort, good on you. And so yeah, I think you're definitely right with that.
But it illustrates though, what is it that they want? And again, many pundits, many other politicians have said it. What is it that they want? It's more power, it's more control, and its ability to really shape everything that maybe the leader would be doing. And then the factions have been set now, and we'll see where this goes next. I feel like today is probably going to be the last day. I don't have really a specific picture in my head of how it'll end, but I feel like they can't keep this going past day 3. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe tomorrow will be the last time we have to mention this, and we'll have a new Speaker of the House. Maybe it'll be Hakeem Jeffries.